Like when something's organic, it's not just going to disappear when if it's propaganda, all of a sudden it just disappears because it was just put out by people with an agenda. But if it's an organic, real thing, it sticks around, and they rear their heads whenever things get out of proportion. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, that whole thing. Okay, so we've got the King of Pentacles here and the 5. Okay, so the King of Pentacles and the 5, the 9 of Cups. So it was what the desire was. So the desire was, let me just bring that down a bit. The desire, so that's a desired card. In the past, it was desired that, so I figure if they moved all of these people into different countries, so say Hillary Clinton had one, and that global movement we all talk about, the 2030 and the one world order and the new world order and all that stuff we talk about, say that was actually going ahead and going forward, and say the pandemic actually did what it was supposed to do, which was take out a large percent of the population, then they would have wanted to move these people. Or say it hadn't worked to the way they wanted it. That was probably their plan B, to move these people. They've been planning that for a long time anyway, because they've been moving people into the UK and all over Europe for many, many, many years. And in the last 10 years, it's been a big issue in North America as well. And finally, it's gotten to be such a big issue that we're noticing, right? It takes a long time for regular folks to notice. They just keep putting up with, in the sort of spirit of inclusive energies, you know what I mean? We're going to just include all of these people. But of course, now they're starting to notice this is probably being done on purpose. Okay, so it was absolutely the plan in the past. Now it feels like this is a wake-up call. So this is a wake-up call. And I feel like these videos, some of them might be real, but some of them are fake. So we've got planted ones and then real people going around finding examples. So it's about like a 50-50. So I think it really is a problem. And I think they really have allowed all these people in here, but it's take it down about half of the threat that they're making it look like. So let's take it down about half the threat. And I feel like there's a plan in place. They're going to leave it like that, but there's a plan in place when those two swords come apart here. There's a plan in place that they'll put forward that'll all of a sudden change the situation. Now, I don't know what that is. Some people say all of these people will be enticed back into their own countries. Who knows exactly what the plan is here? They could even be monetarily enticed back into their own countries. I'm not sure, okay, what the plan is. If they make burqas illegal everywhere, okay, in these countries where it didn't originate, that would probably deter them. If they make big stringent laws against any kind of Muslims being allowed to be in office, so they need to be Christian or as a denomination that kind of fits into the demographic of the place that they're running for office. Okay, if they decided to do that, and some people talk about that, like, believe it or not, in the US they had laws, and some of those laws have been altered that didn't allow Muslims to take any office of any kind, like political offices. If they brought back things like that in a really strict sense, I feel like that would also deter the real radicalized ones to be even still wanting to live there, because now none of their sort of lifestyle is going to be maintained, that sort of thing. Anyway, so it looks like it's still fear porning, like normies, and wake up calls for normies for the most part. But there are issues left over from the flood of people that the deep state already started flooding in. Okay. So from the past, it was the agenda. So we still got some leftover, some hangover from that. Okay, let's have a look. Now, the second one, we want to watch a little video clip here. This guy, this is Mike King, who I think is really good. Like I've been watching him lately, and he's good. And he does a video here. Somebody shared it with me where he points out Rachel Chandler and how Rachel Chandler has even been called out by some people working with Trump. Even that woman working with Trump that Trump's pretending to be in a big fight with. So he explained. So if you watch this guy's video, and we will share it, Coco said she's going to share it on my channel or on the website. Okay, so watch the video all the way through because he has so much information, but he really does explain things well. And the question, and this is my question, so I watched this and I came up with this question. I'm wondering if Rachel Chandler is really that dark witch I've been talking about that's going to get publicly taken out because she was named by somebody in the Trump team that now he pretends to be in a big fight with. I forget her name, but named, and just that's all she wrote in a text. In a post was just her name, and then also the Q drops. Some of the Q drops mention this woman. Okay, now look how young she is. So I just want you to notice. So my feeling is she was MK altered from a young age to do exactly what she's doing, and or channels a really dark witch. So I feel like she might be the dark witch that I've been getting, who's a really high up in the dark cult, like, okay, so I feel like she's probably channeling a demon, basically, to be able to do what they say she's been doing. She's got to channel a demon. Okay, and watch the whole video when you get a chance to know. He gives more details about this, what this woman's been up to, but look at how young she is. I doubt if, like, she's either was born like a psychopath or they created one out of her, but I feel like she probably channels a demon, and I'm going to ask that. So let's have a listen to what this guy has to say about her.
Girls, there's little children there. And that's what Rachel Chandler specializes in. She is the satanic sex trafficker to the stars, Hollywood stars, political stars, and she's key. And Q even said Rachel Chandler is key in all caps, K-E-Y. Here's another post. It's an image of Rachel Chandler, and the Q post reads, "Watch the news for Rachel Chandler." So when you hear that name, when you begin to hear that name in the media, controlled media, know that is an indicator that it's coming. And we heard that from Marjorie Taylor Greene just 2 months ago. Now look at this one, Q post 3155, also from 2019. There's an image of Rachel Chandler with two other sick, twisted freaks and a little baby boy, an infant, on her lap. And they posted that on their social media. What is up with that? Who is that child? What do they intend to do to that child? What happened to that child? I don't think that child's around anymore. I think he was raped and killed, if you ask me. These people are Satanists. That's Rachel Chandler. Q post 4374. This one is from July 2020. Bill Clinton on an airplane, presumably Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express, posing with Rachel Chandler. There's pics of her with all these big shot people. Kevin Spacey, Eminem.
Yeah. So yeah, he goes on, and he has so much great information in that video, by the way. So yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's who I was referring to, the big fake fight. I think these guys are in a fake fight. I thought that right from the get-go. Something's phony about it. Anyway, yeah, you just have to listen to this guy's whole video, and he explains it really well. So let's look at this Rachel Chandler. Is she channeling a demon, first of all? I'm going to start there. And then I'm going to look at, is she this dark witch that I've been picking up on? Because I've been picking up on a really dark witch that's going to get publicly it's going to publicly play out. She gets arrested. And I feel like that might be who I've been getting. Maybe it isn't so obvious as Hillary Clinton. So is Rachel Chandler, like, what kind of energy is she? Like, is she demonic? Is she, wow, we've got the sun there, so that's interesting. And an ace, so something very physical there. Physical, sun, ace. Oh, wow, that's interesting. So we've got the magician. I wonder if they made her up, even the bad guys. Is she like made up, so they pin stuff on her? Okay, so I wonder if she's just being used. I feel like she's being used. She was owned from childhood by these guys, and they just use her image, place her with these people, use her image. And I feel like she was sold to this group, Epstein and gang, from her own mother, or given to them from her own mother. And I feel like they just use her. I don't think she literally is the demon, or the one channeling the demon, or the one moving the children around. I think they just use her image to make it look like that. Okay, so she's nothing like that, but she leads you to the people doing it. So she's the front that they use, and they probably use her because, okay, what regular folks are going to do is, that young girl, you're telling me she's like orchestrating all of this child trafficking and everything. I thought she might be literally a demon to be able to do that, but it looks like they actually just use her. So she's a pot. What do they call that? Anyway, they're using her. They're just propping her up. She's an image that they use, and they put her on the plane with famous people and everything, and blame things on her, and put her in photo shoots with babies, with creepy guys, moving in on the baby. They look like predators in that picture, but they're just using her. She's just part of the game here. So I don't think she's actually a demon. So that's a no from the cards. Actually, I'm going to say no to that. She's not that, but she's being used by them for sure. And they probably use her because she looks young and innocent. Like, she really doesn't look like a child trafficker. So you're going to show that to people, and they're going to be like, what? You know what I mean? She's too young. Yeah. So there you go. Wow. Now I'm going to ask, since we're on the topic here, we're going to look at the part about Majorie Taylor Greene. Is that part, so he talks about that in the video. Is she and Trump, what's their real connection and relationship right now? Or the person playing her, because I doubt if that's really her anymore. Let's say the person playing that woman, are they really in, are they 5D chessing us? Because a lot of what this guy says made sense to me. Are they just playing 5D chess with that fake, like he's done that with Elon Musk, and he says what happens is it takes the pressure off them, and then they can go their own way, and they get to say things Trump otherwise couldn't say because of his political position in the world. He can't say certain things, but they go off and say certain things. And he also says Tucker and Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson are the same way. They're both working for Trump now, regardless what their past was. Okay. And there's controversy about that. Okay. Never mind. But they are now working for Trump, or their brands are. Maybe it's not even them anymore, but their brands are working for Trump, and they are being used out there to say things that Trump otherwise can't say. Okay. Let's see if that's true about me. Yes. So I'm not even going any further. The first card being an ace is a yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that was a yes. Let's carry on here. Is Trump playing 5D chess with the Epstein file situation? Now, again, that video, it's important to go watch that. It'll be put up in the community section. So just go look for it in the community section of tarotbyjanine.com. And if you are watching this video and you're not on tarotbyjanine.com, by the way, somebody stole this video and put it up. Okay, you should be watching it on tarotbyjanine.com. And thank you so much, by the way, to all my subscribers that are supporting me over here, because it allows me to do all kinds of things. You know, this is my livelihood and income. So I'm so happy and that I can do, you know, thank goodness, what my mission is, but also, you know, feed myself and my family and take care of lots of people I love. Yeah, and I thank you guys for that. But anyway, so is Trump playing 5D chess with the whole Epstein situation, right? So he's doing all kinds of things. He's offended all kinds of people when he started saying, what are you even looking at that stuff for? Which made everyone look at it, especially the Democrats. So he wanted all the far lefts to assume that he must be, you know, in a bad role on the list. Okay. Instead of, he's probably on the list is what he's gone on to say, but he's on the list as somebody who turned in Epstein. Actually, he's in the background, been turning him in, and he even kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. So he's probably in the files, but not in the way you would think, right? And I don't think he has anything to fear. They would have come up with it a long time ago if he really did have a role. They could have taken him out a long time ago, and they still had the power to do that. Okay, but the bad guys, they never had that on him, so that was the problem. But anyway, so is he playing 5D chess the way Mike King talks about it? And also I've been talking about it. Is he just trying to get everybody to look at the Epstein files and preparing to really drop them and get these guys, okay, once all the charades are done? Let's have a look. Yeah, the 5D chess gets really annoying, but when you're working with that many people that have no clue, and they also are still sort of caught in that derangement, Trump derangement syndrome, or they're still brainwashed, you know, by mainstream media. Yeah, it's hard to, you gotta really be tricky with how you get this stuff out. I'd say yes. Look at that card. It's one of the ways. So he's doing it in lots of ways, and that's one of the things. And it looks like it's speeding things up. It otherwise, they would have kept blocking them, bringing this out. This way, they're the ones. So I feel like it's literally like a trap. Yeah, it's literally like a trap. And they're the ones, their own people who might not know. So it could even be the followers, Democrat followers. Okay, they're the ones putting the pressure on to out the Epstein, or that's what he's trying to achieve there. That's one of the things anyway. There's a lot of reasons why he's doing it, but that's definitely one of the reasons. Okay, because it'll bring this back up. Otherwise, they would have done a really good job of burying it. And you're going to notice that going forward, just before it comes out, they're going to desperately try to bury it again. Okay, because this looks like it was a trap to get their own people who might not realize that, you know, a lot of the Democratic politicians and all the politicians, not just Democrats, okay, but a lot of the bad folks, let's say the deep state government, they are in on this, okay, so, but they're people that, you know, like uphold this group, the general population of normies, okay, that call themselves liberals, they might not be aware of that, or they might be falling for the, you know, or assuming that the baddies aren't their people or people that they respect. And, you know, they don't understand that. So they're pushing for it. And then I feel like just before it actually does come out, I feel like there'll be a really big push again to hide it now. And it'll be done by the Democrats or the politicians, Democratic politicians. Okay. And we already saw that with that guy that came out that said he's been pushing to have the Epstein files released, and it was the Democrats that voted it down, right? Remember that video we shared? Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, the meat situation. So a lot of people chimed in after I did one on the cloned meat being in grocery stores for up to at least 10 years. Okay, now I want to know, and this people were asking, are some of the meat that was sold, so before this got discovered, okay, because I got that it got discovered and likely I think there's still cloned meat out there on the shelves, but I feel like it's not. Like now, it's really to get people to notice, but it's been out there for a really long time, and that it was done by bad people before. So, what did I mean by that? And a lot of people wanted to know, what did I mean by that? Well, what I could have meant, they could have been putting cloned human meat out. And here's what a lot of people were worried about. Have they been eating cloned human meat that's marked beef or pork or whatever they're marking it as? Okay, so let's have a look. Has that been the case? I don't believe it is still going forward, but has it been the case? That has that happened in the past where that was on the shelves available to people, not obviously not marked, even that it was cloned, but in fact was human meat, pretending to be beef or pork. Has that been the case? Surrender. So that's surrender. Okay. To yes. In some instances, I think yes. Okay. I think yes. Maybe not everywhere though. Okay. So that's certainly a fear. So that card's a fear. So fear porn, to say it was everywhere. It's not been everywhere. Surrender to, there's been instances of that. Okay. But I feel like it's a minor arcana and take it way down and isolated situations. So it's not across the board. So it's not across the board, but they probably put it out there just to see how it'd be received or what people thought of it. Okay. So yes, I would say that's true. Okay. Now we've got the Wheel of Fortune here. Okay. I think that's been dealt with. Okay. And I feel like a lot of the meat you're getting, like you'll either going forward, it'll be marked cloned. Okay. Or like, I feel like this is what's coming. And I hope that starts happening as soon as the new year. I even hope it happens tomorrow or today, that they start marking it properly, because we know they haven't been marking it properly. But I feel like with it being outed like that going forward, I think in the new year, we're going to see really a good quality meats, and we're not going to see this. This has been the case though, and it's not all over though. It's isolated situations with the human when they call it beef or pork. Okay. And likely where a lot of that ended up was in the fast food industry. Right. But I didn't ask about the fast food industry, you guys. I asked about grocery shelves, and in my mind, I'm directing it there. So it's like we're talking about when you go to the grocery store and you pick up meat that's marked pork or beef, and it doesn't say cloned, and it certainly doesn't say human. Okay. Were we getting human meat? That was my question. And it says isolated situations. Yes. Okay. But not everywhere. It's not widespread. Also, it looks like that's not going to be the case going forward. Okay, they're stopping that situation. Oh boy. Okay. Now, my last question today, I'm going to just look at what do we need to know going forward, since there's all of this stuff going on. We're getting told there's big fights between different politicians. It isn't really happening. We're getting fooled every which way. There's psyops everywhere. They're really working on our emotions. It's horrifying even. They're pushing all our buttons. Everything's just it looks like to go after certain agencies, go after certain officialdoms. That's certainly what it looks like to me and what the cards are saying. So, I'm going with that. Let's have a look at what does the universe want to tell us we can expect in the next couple of weeks. It's like, yeah, oh boy, what thing do we in particular need to hear today? An ace and an 8. Okay, we need to get grounded and physically to get away from. We're going to just be served a lot more stuff in the news that's triggering. Okay, we're like there's lots of psyops and lots of things going on. Spiritually, we need to stay in touch. We need to physically ground, get into nature, go somewhere, turn off our phones. We need to take more time to ourselves, get by bodies of water, get in baths with salt, however you do it, right? If you don't have an ocean nearby, I like to dip my feet in the ocean, but I also like a salt bath. Okay, so something, just clearing your energy. And the reason why salt baths and ocean water clears energy, okay? Yeah, obviously not in, dangerous riptides and stuff, right? Of course, but if you have a calm place you can dip your feet in the ocean, then great. Okay. So the Page of Wands here, and we've got the King. So we will be getting in the next 2 weeks more and more truths out about all kinds of things. We've noticed now they're admitting to chemtrails. They're admitting to being psyoping us about the weather. It was even dropped that the climate change agenda has been a hoax. Like, whoa, right? When's that going to catch up to a fools still trying to push that? You know what I mean? Like, if anyone's still falling for that, honestly, they're not somebody I even want to talk to because they're not bright enough. You know what I mean? If somebody's still falling for that, honestly, I don't know, right? I'm not going to waste my energy talking to them. Anyway, so just truly, it's literally saying you need to physically ground, physically take care of yourself, come inward, because there's nothing you can do about all that stuff out there. Okay, come inward and focus on yourself, actually, because it's going to be a shit show out there. That's how I'd say it. And just more and more truth and honesty, which is exactly what's needed, but it's hard to watch. All right, everybody. Love ya. Send in your ravens out there. Okay, going forward. Take care. Bye-bye.
That was 70. We're supposed to be at 102 now. You would think there would something big on the radar that we could all point to and say, aha, that's the event here that's causing the 102. So far, I don't see it for this week, but maybe we have something here coming up next week. Janine, what do you see?
Oh, I don't see anything that big next week.
Okay.
No. So we've got the Queen of Swords here. Now, she can be about something like an arrest, news of an arrest or an indictment, a big news about an indictment or a looming arrest, or even literally an arrest. Okay, I guess that could, but none of it seems to, like, we should have some major arcanas down here for that to be the 102. I'm not
like
seeing
our
it.
card or something like that.
Yeah, there's things going on for sure, and it looks like it keeps up the excitement that Red October has promised. Absolutely. Yeah. And there could even be like more and more ramped up talk about Insurrection Act being called and military on the street. We might even get leaked information about what military are up to in the background, and everybody will be talking about it and expecting it. War coming out in the public, like that looks like that'll continue to ramp up, but it doesn't look like it hits next week.
Okay. And you know what's interesting too? Trump is looking into building this Arc of Triumph, similar to the one in Paris, l'Arc de Triomphe. And I thought, okay, we're triumphant against what exactly? What is he suggesting? Now, in our communities, we can look at July 4th weekend and suggest that, okay, the territory was reclaimed. Trump put the 2 flag posts back on there. It's no longer under the control of this world cabal. So yeah, that in and of itself would be a triumph. But it seems to me he might have something else that he's talking about. Now, today, people are expressing the fact that he might be winning the Peace Prize. And you can see all the Democrats screaming and crying in the background, because he's the Hitler, remember? That's what we were told. Yeah. Where's that one? I think I have it here somewhere. Hold on. This one. Okay, so yeah. Nobel Peace Prize. And he says, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do. This is Trump saying this. And he says, but nobody's solved 8 wars in a period of 9 months before. Like, it's never been done. And so you got to give the guy credit. And so far, we're not seeing most of the mainstream news or even those, you know, those we genuinely call libtards. They're not too happy about this. But it is a triumph. He just got a peace deal between Hamas and Israel as well.
Yeah.
So that's happening right now, and those guys are celebrating in the streets in a big way here today. So, got to give President Trump some credit here. Now, going back, well, let's look at that then. Let's look at the L'Arc de Triomphe, for the Triumph arc that Trump is proposing here for Washington D.C. I have that on the screen a little bit. If you want to reshuffle the cards, I'll get to that. Graphic. He's got a 3D model on his desk right now, and looks like it's in the works. So you can see it here, the bigger one right there. There you go. And the small one here would be built here. So what's this about, Janine? What are we really triumphant about? On one hand, you know, like July 4th, it was big, if it indeed was a recapture of Washington, D.C. Could it be that the takeover of the United States during the assassination of JFK Jr. has now been resolved and taken back? That would be a good triumph as well. Or is he suggesting here that we might be triumphant against aliens or something? Like, what's going on with this?
It's about things that have gone on in secret. So it's going to be hard for people to understand until that comes out. So it's about the war and what they've been fighting, and that they're triumphant against the enemy, which I would say would be like the deep state or the dark cult or the overlords that have been oppressing humanity. Like, it's big. It feels like it's the people that have been trying to kill us, basically. So it's about something that's gone on in secret. So for a really long time, even. So I think it's what the White Hat Alliance have been up to. I think they're going to, once that all comes out in the open, that'll be a place people can look to.
And celebrate. Yeah,
and celebrate. Yeah. And it's going to come. Like this card's like a lot of things. It'll be about a lot of things, and it will come out in the public, but just not quite time yet. They need to tell us about, like, tell the public about the secret tribunals and tell them about the war, like people that don't know. I feel like they got, people have some catching up to do before he'll explain it.
Well, he's clearly prepping for celebrations. When you think about it, the grand ballroom he's building, all the gold he's putting in the White House, now the Arc of Triumph. He's preparing for something. And if you were a betting man, you would say, well, he's preparing for something that he knows is already in the bag, because I don't think he'd be out doing this stuff if it wasn't already. So that's Trump for you. So that's very interesting. Let's take a poll from the audience members. Do you guys think he's triumphant with the deep state? Do you guys think he's triumphant of, maybe like some media are saying that, it's an egotistical thing that he's triumphant coming back after, having the election stolen to him? Is he triumphant because now finally all the leaders of the world seems to be kowtowing to him, and that, was almost impossible to fathom in mainstream news a couple of years ago? Trump would never return. He was dead, so to speak, and they wanted to put him in jail, and they wanted to put a bullet in him too. So is that the triumph he's talking about? Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. I'd be curious to see your impressions on all that. Janine, we've been looking at Three Eye Atlas quite a bit since July, right, when it was delivered. And in the last couple of weeks, things are heating up. And they're heating up in some weird ways. Now, you and I are navigating, I guess, our audience members who are sending us all this stuff to kind of look at from different perspectives. Some of it, we put it on the board. Some of it we shy a little bit away from, simply because we've been at this for some time and we can generally suss out some of the ones that we think are not worth our time or worth the audience time. But that being said, there's a lot happening, and what we're seeing in the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks now is there's a lot of old narratives that kind of fell out of favor a couple of years ago after the Corey Good deposition stuff, and they seem to be, some of them at least, trying to rebrand themselves with this new 3i Atlas. So they're using some of the same old narratives of the secret space programs and all these things and attaching their narrative now to the 3i Atlas, almost in an attempt to, I guess, regain the popularity they once had. So that's making it's muddying the waters, so to speak, to try to figure out what's happening here. But at the same time, that is muddying the waters. We also have the governments around the world who are not really talking about it. They're just like, mum's the word. So here's Cliff High says, government ain't saying shit about 3i Atlas. That should speak volumes. Now, we had the meeting a week and a half ago or so with Trump and all the admirals and the generals. There was an agenda that was published, of course, to the mainstream news. And there was something, of course, that was happening behind the scenes that we have not yet been told about. And we surmised and we opined that perhaps they were also talking about what's incoming here with 3i Atlas and some of the other interstellar visitors that are accompanying it here in our solar system. So let me maybe ask you to do a 7-card poll for the month of October here. Where does this narrative go? Because right now, it appears to be, remote viewers, tarot readers, like I said, a whole bunch of researchers on the astronomy side of things that are pushing the narratives. And then we have those, old narratives of secret space programs trying to tie in. So it's very convoluted, but we're not really getting any type of official comment from officialdom on this. And it's odd because in the last 2-3 years, we've had all of these UFO conferences in Congress, these meetings, and they're trying to get disclosure going. We've had the Pentagon release files about the TikTok videos and all that stuff. And so you would think that they wanted disclosure, but here it's still mum's the word. So I'm curious about that. So I want to see here in the next month or so if that changes or if it continues to be muddied and convoluted here with the current sources and players that are on the field talking about this right now. What do you see?
It's interesting. This is in the past, and it looks like it's been strongly held by the White Hat Alliance to keep the narrative a certain way, or even to keep the waters muddy on it. Seems like that's actually coming from the SOC or the White Hat Alliance Trump team. So muddying it is their idea, or keeping it repressed somehow. Okay, now this is interesting here.
Hold it just a sec. You said something, it might have been last week in a show, and you said, oh, that person and that person, they're probably being handled to bring out this information. And you were suggesting by that probably military sources or, 3-letter agencies. Here you're kind of saying that here too. So, but here you're putting it in the camp of the White Hats wanting to muddy the waters on this.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And so this is like a muddied water. If you look at this card, this is in the present moment where there's several different things, like we're speculating in all of these cups. All of these cups have some kind of murky speculation. And that is what it feels like. This person's talking about this over here. Somebody else is mentioning Dracos. Now somebody else is talking about the whole entity. The ship itself is an entity, So there's all of these things. And we don't know any of it to be true or not true, right? Like that's how murky this card is.
Yeah.
Now we've got the 3 of Swords. So that's interesting. The 3 of Swords is potentially either information. Remember that swords indicate words, thoughts, information. And something's coming between some of these ideas here that'll probably put an end to some of the murky ideas. Something's going to come to light that takes away some of the murkiness. Information will shed light on what it really is, or at least partly shed light. Might not entirely clear it up, but we're about to get something here, I'd say, in the next month or so.
Okay.
Where something, even 3 weeks with that card, something comes along and slices off 2 or 3 different things that are being said out of all of these things that make it like, no, can't be that, can't be that.
Okay.
Some things are going to drop away.
Okay.
And the hidden influence is patience. As we patiently wait and watch, we become enlightened. So the more we watch and watch even the narratives being spun, we will be enlightened. I think we just have to sit with it and the truth will reveal itself, but it's not quite ready to do it yet.
You know, it's funny, before you go too far with the rest of the cards, in this last week or so, because again, a lot of our viewers are asking us, hey, look about this guy, look at what this person said, that person said, and we're looking at it. And every question I was asking you about it, the cards seemed to be like obfuscating, or it was like pulling teeth. Like it just didn't want to let it go for something. So it's kind of like that overarching theme here too, that, yeah, we have to let it go, or we have to be patient here, or we're in an uncomfortable period of time or position for a while still. Does that make sense?
Yes. And
Okay.
sometimes I think we have to have the experience. Even this community needs the experience that's coming.
Yeah.
We can't know ahead of time exactly. Part of this is for the experience, and it'll help us evolve.
Yeah.
So you don't get all the details. That's what that feels like. But if you just keep watching, you'll know in your heart what's true and what isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so
right.
here we've got further information. Like this aligns with this. Something's going to come out that makes it clear what isn't true, at least. So something's coming that clears up some of these foggy ideas. So some of the narratives are going to drop away in the next month.
Okay.
Okay, that'll be good. And then
Yep.
we'll be left with a building, some building blocks we can work with, that they might not exactly explain the whole thing, but it will get a lot closer to what the truth is.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to give it time. And now we've got the Ace of Cups. And also stay not open where your boundaries are important, but also openness of mind and heart around moving with the information as it comes, because it could be really unique.
Yeah, to be data dependent. Like keep having stuff come in, put it on the radar, put it off the radar, but don't stop basically listening.
Be fluid with it, and keep opening up to, don't get all set on, well, it has to be, we don't know what it is.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be anything right now. And it's all a part of our experience, whatever it turns out to be. Now we've got these two, so it'll surprise everybody. But that the surprise isn't right here yet. So we still got a little time. I think we got about a month.
Okay. For the people who haven't, maybe leave the cards there for just a second. So for the people who haven't watched the show, was it last night and also on the Monday night on the pay-per-view, we had some pictures coming out of the European Space Agency. This is one of them here. There was a lot more coming out suggesting again that it was really odd if it was in fact a comet. It's looking less and less like a comet every day. Then we had the remote viewers, not the future forecasting group that I usually talk to, but some other remote viewers who are suggesting that, as Janine is saying here, that maybe CERN was communicating with the beings on this craft. They said also that it appeared to be Draco reptilian in nature. and mostly, but there was other beings on there as well. So there was that narrative being discussed earlier this week. You guys can go find this. It's all on my Twitter if you want to find these clips. We had another UFO experiencer talking about her visions and her ET contact of what this particular craft was. She talked about being a cargo ship of sorts, having its own kind of soul, or basically that the ship was a living entity of sorts, and that they were just merely curious about us and explorers. So on one hand, we have the Dracos, we're not nice, and on the other hand, we have, oh, there's just love and light, they're explorers, nothing to see here, nothing to fear here. So we're getting kind of bombarded with all of these different stories. Last week, we had the 3 Jedi narrative being played out, that these were secret space program generals who had been, interstellar, and now were coming back, and suddenly they were needing the communities of Beyond Mystic and Michael Salas and all that to bring a specific message to Earth, which we thought was a little bit weird in and of itself. But at any rate, this is what we're being treated to right now, and we're trying to unmuddy the waters, so to speak. Now, what was interesting, and I want you to put on this, Cliff was putting out a joke here today. Maybe you can shuffle, actually. We're going to need you to shuffle for this one. So he basically made a poster for a travel agency recruiting people to be part of this 3i Atlas voyage to Earth. Humans are gaining galactic level consciousness, and it's only 249 Zorns per person. The deluxe full mind presence reserve you a spot on this galactic show. So anyways, I thought that was good. Contact your travel agency here at 3iatlas.com. So I thought that was kind of cool. But it makes you wonder, who are these people? Why are they coming here? Is it because remember in the data, I think it was 2012, 13, 14, around those years, Cliff had a category called Space Goats Farts. And in there, he talked about all these weird things coming from space. And there was a prediction that something would come by Earth similar to a cruise ship. To full of aliens, they would just kind of like cruise, go around Earth, like take some pictures and then leave. But it was kind of like a cruise ship kind of attitude thing. Yep. So I kind of want to ask that question here. Is that perhaps what 3i Atlas is somehow? It's a bunch of people on a cruise from some other interstellar part of this universe, and you just want to visit humans because we're about to, gain galactic level consciousness. What's going on? So kudos to Cliff for the poster, but it made me think, like, okay, because our normal human brains would normally go to, oh, we're being invaded, right? And then the other portions of humanity is like, oh no, we're being saved. We're going to be ascending, and they're here to pick up all the star seeds, and we're finally going to get off this stupid rock, right? But what if it's way more tricky than that? Like, I don't know. We can't really put ourselves in the minds of these ETs and why they would do the things that they do. So let's see what universe has to say. Is this a voyage on a cruise ship or something completely different?
Well, there's a soft yes to it. So something, or maybe even some of the entities on there are, that's their intention. There might be 3 different groups of entities. So yesterday when we were looking, it did look like some Dracos might be involved, but some of them had already either jumped ship along the voyage or maybe even been eliminated or something.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
Yep.
And we thought that there were some, but less than what started out. But that wasn't the only element. So maybe they were bringing along some Dracos. I have no idea why. Okay, now this looks like 3 different sort of groups of energies, right? Like threes. So what part of some of them might think of it as their sightseeing. So that's interesting. Like I don't know how they would exactly think about it, but somehow what you're saying has some truth to it. That's what that card says. Okay. And then this is a creative. So we do have to stay open-minded and creative with, might not be exactly how we see sightseers.
Right.
Maybe they're just literally curious. I don't know. Okay. And then see this 8. Maybe even a little bit of a probe because they're lacking. So their place is lacking. Maybe they all picked up and had to leave. So that's why there's 3 different groups here from somewhere that was going to be uninhabitable. So that's interesting because this looks like possibly that's what's going on with that 8 of Wands. So maybe they're looking for what could work out there in the galaxy for them.
Well, that's more concerning because if they're coming here because they want something or they're missing something, and here we are, the inferior species. I mean, we're still not going interstellar as far as we know. Maybe a small portion of humans are doing that in what Richard Dolan calls the what does he call it? The breakaway civilization group.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's possible. But at any rate, this could put us in a difficult position if they're actually wanting and looking for something from us. We might not know or be able to deal with them or negotiate with them, and we might not have all the technology to defend ourselves against them taking what it is they want. Do you want to do clarifiers on maybe intention at this point?
Every time we do that, it kind of comes up the same. Unsure and not like secret. It's a secret. And
like
this they're not really sure. Maybe they don't know what to expect from us either. So they don't have an intention. This is probing. This is like, what's out there? And we heard there was some activity on this place. Let's swing by here. You know what I mean? It may be something like that. And some of these energies are considering this a work trip, is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have even been the Dracos. Maybe they were on board doing the heavy lifting.
Right.
Or working the engines, or who knows how it works. I have no idea, right?
Well, when you say probing, Janine, a lot of people's backside just tighten up really, really quick on that one. If you watch a lot of ET contactees and some of those movies, definitely not a scenario humans are looking forward to being probed. Okay, let's leave it at that for now. Big news again today, like we were trying to find this 102 emotional value. We looked at maybe 3i Atlas being one of the components to that. And the second one, of course, is what's happening with gold and silver. So gold has crushed the U.S. stock market over the last 25 years. Look at the chart between the S&P 500 there. Very interesting, of course, when mainstream news is telling us that gold is just a pet rock. When Governor Pelosi here in Canada explained why we got rid of all our gold, it was because it was, it wasn't performing and it wasn't liquid. Well, you look at this, we would have fared a lot better had we kept our gold here in Canada. And of course, the big news today, $51 spot silver. It actually went up to 51.22, I think, and then huge fight broke up. It went down $2, and I think we're just sitting now below $50 USD spot price for silver. So for a lot of commentators today, this was the moment they've been waiting for. So we're back to all-time high, and presumably here in the trading markets, there's no longer any overhead resistance, meaning the people who had bought at $50 the last time it was there, I had a choice today to sell to get their money back or to stand put and look where this goes now moving forward that we're in all-time high territory. Similar to Bitcoin, now that we're in all-time high, who knows what the number is going to be? It could be growing really, really fast here in the next couple of days, especially when we went right past the 50 and hit 51.22 today or 51.21. I was like, whoa, something's breaking in the background here. Now trading was stopped at the LBMA for about 15 minutes earlier today too. Something broke there as well. I'm not sure if they were trying to stop the momentum at that point over to $51. I'll get Andy Sheckman on the line maybe the next couple of days to see if he's got some insight on what happened. But let me have you pull on silver right now. This all-time high territory here, us breaking that right now. the question people in this community are asking is, okay, are we finally there to where the silver price mechanism is breaking? What we're accusing the riggers, so to speak, here of preventing silver from hitting its natural value. Is that broken? Is it breaking? Where are we on that time frame, Janine?
I think we're breaking through here. That's a breakthrough card. 2 wand cards. This card says you're looking out. It's that moment when you look out at the world and plan what to do next, because the world's your oyster.
Mm-hmm.
The world's silver's oyster. Interesting. All wands. And one of them is the 4 of Wands, which is a breakthrough, literally a breakthrough card. So I think and this is the past, which is a manipulation card. This guy's a manipulator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow. And then the Temperance card, which is universal timing. So silver's in the hands of the universe and not the manipulators.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Yeah. It could really be something that creates a lot of people to have some financial independence.
Well, already a lot of people were buying this at $5, $10, $15 way back when you and I were talking about this. Mm-hmm. They've already made some good gains here. But let me bring up the all-time chart so you guys can see what we're talking about here. And yes, we'll get to the $600 silver question in just a moment. But here you go. This was the original all-time high there. And here we are today, right? So we've broken up of this cup and handle formation as well. And for a lot of analysts, they're suggesting it's a threefold from here. So probably $150 in very quick order, maybe even before December. But that's still not yet the $600 silver that was predicted in the WebBot data. Now, when Cliff predicted the $600 silver, he also had another conjunct category talking about new electrics and all this weird stuff from ETs. And so now that we have 3i Atlas in the back, the human consciousness starting to think that, wait a second, actually, maybe this is true. We're not alone. Perhaps this is why we're seeing stock prices go down right now, because some of the technology we have right now is absolutely going to be made obsolete, perhaps in the next couple of days and weeks. That could bring a big revival and a big resurgence of need for this precious metal here, silver, bringing it and catapulting it to not just $600 spot price, but unobtainium, to where government bans you from owning it because it's so strategic and valuable. Let's do a poll on that. Like, are we bring it out? What are we today? October. Bring it out to March of 2026. Let this play out, the ETs, the discoveries, the innovation boom, the technology being obsolete, and this, new electrics field emerging. Let's see where we're at with silver in March of next year. Are we looking at unobtainium first? Are we looking at a gradual uptick? Are we looking at the manipulators one last time crashing back down to $5, as some people are suggesting? What do you see, Janine?
Well, it looks like it's being managed by a different group now.
So we've exchanged one manipulator for another manipulator, Janine?
Yep. And I thought that for a while, that it's probably been managed by the Alliance, White Hat Alliance group for quite a while. It's probably quite a while. And they were trying to get everyone to understand this thing's being managed. And I also got for years now that maybe they were manipulating it on purpose to let people get in on it. Right.
And also maybe to crash the banks. And
yeah.
To crash, to break the cabal's back by manipulating it in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're about 60% to our big 600 by then. So it's not going as fast as we thought.
Okay. Well, that's still pretty fast. If we get to, $400 or $500 by March of next year, this is astronomical numbers by any means. Yeah. Wow. Okay. What are the two bottom cards there? The unnecessary worry
Yeah,
and
that's where I got the idea of 6. So where does it end up?
okay.
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 And this is unnecessary worry. So a lot of people that have been worrying about it crashing, I think that relieves. I
Ah.
think it performs in a way that shows you it won't disappear or crash anytime soon. So I don't think this fear will be around too much longer. But it's been somehow managed so it doesn't go as fast as I think it otherwise would.
Okay. Like
And
perhaps
yeah,
what was happening today when it hit 51 there,
yeah,
somebody was pushing the brakes on it. Yeah.
they're managing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. I have another segment, and then we have a guest joining us. This next one is kind of weird. Alex Jones had a guest on his show today with this device, and they're basically scanning the human body for nanotechnology, self-assembling nanotechnology, and microchips. Turns out Alex has it. His guest also has it. And they're wondering where this is coming from. So the other guest is a military guy. And so the researcher who's doing the test here is suggesting that a lot of military personnel have these things in their body. And the military individual on the show was saying, well, I was in the teams training for a Navy SEAL. And sometimes for missions, they would have us swallow this microchip so that they can, monitor our heart rates, our locations, all that stuff during these very strategic missions. But he says, I don't know where all these things went. Like, did I process it out of my body? Is it still there? I don't know. And then the researcher doing these tests is suggesting that perhaps this was also a delivery mechanism being used during COVID, and that they were implanting this in humans here, these self-assembling nanobots and perhaps even microchips through the vaccine. And when Alex asked the question about the vaccine, he says, well, I'm not vaccinated. He says, yeah, but if you took a PCR test, remember they were going through the nose, through the blood-brain barrier, that was a delivery mechanism for such a device. And that the patent for that was awarded, I think, in the 70s. So this is not like new technology, it's old technology. So weird stuff. But it was like, whoa, I just saw this. I'm like, whoa, that means that everybody, or a lot of people who think they're unvaccinated and perhaps are clear of some of this nanotech in their body, might have to revisit that question today. And so in looking at that, I was like, is AJ doing fear porn? What's this? Like, I don't really want to look at it, but it came on the radar. And we had a couple of questions in the queue today when I saw your viewer question with Coco. So let's do a poll on this, Janine. Are we full of nanobots and microchips already, most humans? Because they're talking about astronomical numbers now, both from the population who's vaccinated, but also those who are not, but perhaps were in military programs. Apparently they have a very specific signature to them as well. And perhaps even the people who are not tested by PCR, people who are not vaccinated, but simply because they had sexual relations with those who were. And perhaps that has been transmitted to that portion of the population as well. And if any percentage of that is true, even in the slightest, it means that we have to go back and think about this and be adults about it and look at remedies. And also, why the F were they putting that much effort to doing that in the first place? So that'll be my supplementals. But right now, is there even a little bit of truth to this, Janine, that we can look at?
I think it's something they were fighting and won. And I don't think I'm going to say it could be fear porn.
Okay.
Nothing here looks like it's true. It looks more like this is what they were fighting against. And that's part of the war effort, was so that I feel like this is a scenario that wanted to happen, but then didn't. Because remember, Trump went to all of the big pharmacy companies before the lockdowns, or just at the time of the lockdowns, and had these meetings. And I feel like they brought them all the information they had on them, and they had them, most of them, capitulate. And then I think they released certain, like they had to let the vax go out. And I feel like some batches were booby trapped kind of thing, because it had they needed to wake up the population that this was this was something, and people were begging for a vax. You know what I mean? That's just what we've been so brainwashed. So this all had to play out. And I feel like that was something that they stopped it. So I don't really get.
Well, okay. So the scenario was they were going for it at some time.
Yes.
And now this was mitigated at the very least or stopped at best. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you do appear to have what I see as military cards there. Could it be, as a researcher was saying, that some of the military personnel are in fact infected with this here too? And that's what you're seeing in the cards, that maybe they're more the people at risk of this technology coming out because they might have tested it on them first before the general population, as they often do.
I'm not getting big yeses.
Okay.
There might be a percentage of them, but I'm not getting it. I feel like those guys were exaggerating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is, why? Why are we being treated to this fear porn now as if we don't have enough fear porn shit going on right now? Is just a distraction of sorts? Is it timely for something else, or is this a setup for exactly what you just pulled in your cards? For Trump unveiling this plan, and this is the Arc of Triumph that he wants to build also in DC, that we've triumphed over that particular war effort here, the spreading of this nanobot technology across humanity, that we've triumphed over that. And this is just a part of seeding the narrative so people even explain what the game plan was.
I think
you understand where I'm going with the question?
Yeah, I think that last thing you said is true. Yeah, so this card is, something's way better than you thought it was. So they worked it out, and the world card is, we're past that, we're through that gateway. So we could have went that way, but we went this way instead. So we've seen the world card twice. The world is, we're finished that. I feel like that was some people are calling it a timeline. Some people are calling it, that was a scenario we're not going to. And they worked it out so it wouldn't happen. And they did it through fighting the war. Okay, so I feel like with this card in the background, the woo or the intuitive or the sovereign beings won. We're free from that. That would have been more enslavement. I feel like we're free from it. And why? Why did they do it? So why did they do what? Why did they free us from it? Or why?
No, why are they bringing up this narrative now?
Oh, okay.
Is it only to set up the fact that we're about to have justice and an explanation to the public as to what that war was all about in the first place?
A lot of the celebration is they're going to talk about it during the celebration. There's going to be a golden age that Trump talks about. I really think that's true. And I feel like they'll bring out all of these things and be like, yeah.
Well, that's good news. Okay.
I think the world use it after all of the shenanigans.
Absolutely. Yeah. The seventh pillar says sexual relations. What is that? Somebody says, yeah, think about through blood transfusion as well. Yeah. Did I say sexual relations? Maybe I was channeling Bill Clinton. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. I used to do it better. Anyways, yes, seventh pillar. That's what I was talking about. All right. So Alex Jones, don't stress about his video today, guys. It doesn't seem to be in the cards, so to speak. So, okay. So if you like my impersonation, just give me a thumbs up in the live chat. I'll have fun with that one. Okay. So my guest tonight, of course, let's see if I can bring this up. She is the owner and operator, of course, of FloralineFarm.ca. She makes these amazing, beautiful soaps, organic soaps here. If you want to check that out, FloralineFarm.ca is the place to be. We're going to give away some of these soaps here at the end of the show. But before we get into that, also, we have to talk about her new Building Resilience workshop here on the Academy. So please join me in welcoming Aline. Aline, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing good. Hi, everybody.
Did you like my impression of Bill Clinton? I saw you laughing in the background.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes,
Well, thank you for
absolutely.
joining us, Aileen. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us here tonight. Quite a few news stories to get through. But I wanted to talk about this, and then I shared it with the IAP members on the Monday night. I said that this was coming up, and it's very fortuitous that it is. I think that right now, given Janine's poll also tonight here about how we're all being affected emotionally in a big way right now, maybe not because of events, but because of energies coming from space. That was the message we got here last week, that maybe building resilience in ourselves right now to be able to not just heal from everything we've gone through here in the past, but also build up some capability here for what's just around the corner. And those emotional tension values are only rising from here, by the way. So great timing on this brand new workshop here on the Academy. Tell us a little bit more about why building resilience is important right now, how you structured the course, and how you think this can be absolutely impactful in a very beneficial way here to the audience, Aileen.
Right, right. So resilience help us navigate life with more ease. So that's the the big idea behind the workshop. And resilience help us really make space for the good things in life. So more of the uplifting, positive emotions like empathy, compassion, kindness, and also I know this is very important for the audience. It's also the ability or the capacity to share our healing presence with the world. And resilience, it's really all about cultivating the ability to bounce back. So to bounce back from challenges, uncertainties, even a difficult moment during our day. And it's also about bouncing forward. So continuing doing what we need to do while we're going through a challenge. And I would also add the fact that resilience helps us also recover from setbacks. So it's a adaptive reserve that we all have, and the good news is that it can grow. So even if, I'll ask you a question, GC and Janine. What do you think is the biggest spender of our adaptive reserve?
What uses up our adaptive reserve?
Yes, the number one factor.
Stress?
Yes, yes. And it's a very specific type of stress. And you've said it earlier, it's the emotional stress, it's the mental stress.
Okay.
So we were meant to basically to deal with acute stress. We have a beautiful body. We have what it takes to deal with the big stressors. But in modern life, what we have is emotional stress, mental stress, and it's chronic stress. And we're not
Often
built
unresolved.
unresolved stress, exactly.
Yeah.
So keeping triggering that stress response by different things around us. It's very important to notice when it happens so we can stop the stress response or to prevent it from continuing and taking away some of our adaptive reserve.
So what you're saying is, if you think about earlier humans, they were built to deal with the imminent threat of a saber-toothed lion coming into the cave. Okay, you're all stressed for a minute or two. You defend the cave, and then you're done, and then your stress levels and cortisols come back down. what's happening
Exactly.
right now is emotionally, and it feels like we're being programmed for stress every day if you look at the mainstream news, and also with all the colors flashing, and they're really, really throwing it at you. We're just under this constant emotional stress, and on top of that, like the COVID situation, the separation from our parents, the separation from our loved ones during COVID, but this cognitive dissonance that it created to where, you know, you're not invited to the parties. Wait, am I wrong? Am I the crazy one? Like that constant stress of being in this community of, you know, trying to understand what's happening in this reality is perhaps bigger than we expected from what you're saying here too. And that's creating,
Yes. It's
it's
a
taking a
backlog.
toll.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
we all have a backlog
A
of
backlog of
things
stress.
that we haven't processed. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, I was just going to add that yes, in early days, humans were really fighting or trying to survive physical stressors, like a storm, an upcoming storm, or I don't know, trying to get back to the tribe with a broken leg. Now, these days, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's less. So
Right.
we are bombarded by other types of stressors, and the program hasn't changed. So
Right.
our program, the way we were wired, hasn't changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're building resilience workshop here presumably is giving us tips on how to maybe change that programming a little bit or use that programming in a different way once we understand what those triggers are so that we can get out of this continuous stress response so that we have more energy to, like you say, bounce back
Mhm.
from past traumas, but also be resilient and strong to fight what's just around the corner, perhaps coming out of these
Yes.
aliens here for 3i Atlas. Can you give us an example of one of the exercises or one of the tips and tools that you're giving in this workshop here that is available for everyone to just really understand how to take back possession here of that resilience and to grow it even further, as you say, that is possible for everyone here. Give us a tip or two.
Yeah. So when we look at healthy people, resilient people, we now know that they do three things. And my workshop was based on that. So the three things are they cultivate very specific personal qualities, like, for example, self-awareness, inner wisdom, flexibility in thinking, and also optimism. So leaning on the side of hope. And they also dodge risk factors. Like, for example, one of the most important risk factor is the lack of sleep. So the lack of sleep makes everything worse. So that's a risk.
Right.
So when we deal with, let's say, a bad night, or disruption in sleep in general, well, everything starts to be more difficult. So happy and healthy people, they know how to recognize the risk factors, and they also understand that it's important to problem solve the risk factor. And third element is they also know how to anchor themselves. So we all have protective factors, and one of the most important anchor is friendship. So we know it's linked to, for example, to living longer.
Right.
It makes us happier. So it's a good protector to having a community where we can share, views that are welcome. That's a very important factor. So the workshop is based on these three elements.
Okay, very good. So I love that community aspect of it here too, because I remember being told during COVID that, we were the fringe minority, and we took a lot of room, and people should discard us, and they even questioned if they had to put us in jail. I remember that. So imagine that stressor on all of us. Janine, can I have you pull some cards here also? If you want to talk about some anecdotes, again, also for yourself about building resilience, why it's important. But if you want to just get a message from universe here, it very much feels that humanity is on the verge of something very, very new. It's novel, and it's a place we've never been before. Janine, you've pulled so much here in the last couple of months with everything that's going on, and we're never going back to where it was. And so it means that there's even more change ahead of us. And if we're already backlogged, as Aline is saying, we have to take a conscious effort here to maybe remove that backlog and also increase our resilience moving forward if we're going to be functioning ourselves as individuals, but also as key community players here to help our children also be resilient, for example, right? So what does universe have to say as to why this is important, and why we should be looking at this right now, Janine?
Okay. The first card down was youthful curiosity. So this guy's a page, and he's very curious, and he doesn't jump to conclusions when he's looking at new territory. He just has a look and studies the new terrain. He's studying the terrain to make a decision how to step. Okay, but he's just new. He knows he's in new territory, and he's more approaching it with curiosity. And also wands indicate humor, curiosity, and there's two wand. Oh, sorry, there's just one wand card. I thought there was two. So curiosity, humor, and integrity. So self-reflection and honesty with himself. And Ellen, you did mention that's sort of doing self-work. At least that's how I heard it, was one of the building blocks.
Oh, yes.
To be able to, sort of manage things right now. And I agree that, and so that universe wants to say that. And then looking at, and coming from the place of a sovereign being already. So already assuming that so we found out that we have a system that enslaved us, or could have, but we don't behave like that. So you just don't agree to that. I just don't agree myself to being an enslaved person. I haven't agreed to it from the get-go, and I'm just not agreeing to it. So we're just not doing that. Okay, so that's, and it takes some stubborn mindset to go there, because some other part of myself could say, well, it looks like you are that because blah, blah, blah. But I just don't even pay attention. I just stay here. I just go, nope, I am a sovereign being, and I just stick with that. Okay, so there's a stubbornness to it. Having done your healing work and worked on your own personal healing and come to a personal spiritual connected place, that'll really come in handy. So that's in the past. So just knowing yourself well enough and finding that self-love, and this is doing some healing work. So if you did have traumatic childhood, you looked at that, you worked on some of those things. Doesn't mean you're perfectly healed. Nobody is, but you at least acknowledge that you have work to do and you're working on it, right? Because that's doing some healing work and agreeing to that. Here's in the now. So staying creative with your responses to things. So you're looking at things with curiosity and creativity. So when you view something that's all new and you've never seen anything like it, for instance, maybe they'll do another lockdown or something. And so you're going to look at that from the place of curiosity. Oh, well, what are they up to now? Okay. And also don't agree and don't comply, because you're intuitively, that you're a sovereign being and they can't do that to you. So, aren't they interesting, whoever they are? And I wonder what they're trying to pull, and use creative ways around your situation, right? So that use creativity when you step in this new territory. And recognize that don't recognize your limitations. This card recognizes its limitations. That could speak to the lack of sleep. Like, I know I get up really, really early these days. It's like spirit wakes me up at about 5 or 5:30 a.m. So I go to bed around 9 or 9:30. And if I push it, I know that'll cost me in stress the next day. Like Elaine was saying, not having enough sleep is absolutely a stress causer. Okay, so managing things that you can manage, so you know you've been awakened. So being creative enough to go, okay, instead of being mad that you're getting awakened at 5, there might be a reason for that. I get a lot of really good work done at that time, by the way. And it's a real good connecting spiritual time. So I've come to appreciate 5:30 a.m. Okay, but I also know I have to manage putting myself to bed at a reasonable hour, so I don't, and not having that late afternoon coffee like I used to have. Right, so just doing things that you know could work, just work around, so you don't get caught, catch yourself up. This is self-reflection, really important. Recognize that everything that's happening in the external world is teaching you something internally. So take it in and go, okay, what am I learning from this? Instead of, how is this messing with me? Okay, I was really angry. People always think everything's messing with them. Okay, how about, what is this trying to teach me, and how am I going to use this to my advantage? Right, so spin it. And that speaks to what Elaine was saying about taking a positive approach and being creative with, I spend a lot of my day spinning stuff mentally, and I know I'm doing it and I'm okay with it. Like, I know myself well enough. I'm not fooling myself. I'm actually just managing a really strange situation we're all finding ourselves in.
Right.
And self-preserving. I'm preserving myself, so I don't get all stressed out about the little stuff. Okay, and then, and community. So it's basically aligning completely with what Lynn said. It's your community. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with like-minded community. And I just had a really, really clear situation happen where I was trying to make it work with somebody who was absolutely not respecting in any way my views. Okay, and frankly, I wasn't respecting their views. And we were trying to coexist really closely, and it just wasn't meant to be. And it had to bust up. And neither of us had each other's back when it came to philosophies and the way we viewed the world. And we're going to have to let go of even long-time relationships and friendships with people that in no way see what we're seeing. It's like they're looking at the world from a completely different lens. You're going to have to split apart from those people and find your real community and find real connection with people, so you can actually be yourself and not tippy-toe around and secretly listen to your videos and whatever you're doing and never share that with this person you think is your friend. Right. So we have to readjust who's our friends and who's got our back and who's our real community.
So can you do that's beautiful, Janine. Can you do clarifiers on right now, given the state of affairs and where the cusp humanity seems to be standing on right now? What are the benefits to us individually investing here in paying attention to our resilience and putting more effort into that? What's the benefit there, and what do we need to know from universe as to why perhaps the timing right now is very crucial to be putting that energy into this space right now?
Wow. Okay, judgment card. So that's a wake-up call. That is literally like the universe is saying, wake up. Like, it's the biggest wake-up call. The number 20 of the major arcana. It's like a big thunderclap. So it seems like it has a lot of clout right now. Okay. And then this card here, we've got the King of Wands. In order to exist in the world. Okay. So this guy exists with full integrity and personal well-being. He's well-being spiritually. So wands are spiritual. There's humor to them. Their biggest word is integrity. So he exists in an integral way with humor. He's charismatic. Charismatic is an evolved form of humanity. When a person is really charismatic, they've lived many lifetimes usually, and they bring with them lifetimes of experience. They don't sweat the small stuff because they've been there, done that, worked through that. Okay, they get it. They see the big picture. This guy's one of my favorite kings. So for us to come more fully whole into this, and to really experience on a full level, I feel like our resilience building is absolutely like it's time to do it right now, because that wake up call says, okay.
So it's going to pay dividends here with you becoming the King of Wands after that. Wow,
Yeah.
fascinating. Okay, very good. Elian, let me bring you back up here. Your mic was echoing a little bit here. There you go.
ủng hộ gần đầu, Cố Văn Định thở dài nói: Lão Phu hỏi thăm người ta, sao nghe được đều là như vậy? Không thành vấn đề rồi, nuôi con lớn như vậy, nếu thay tên đổi họ, tương lai sinh con đều theo họ mẹ. Có chặt đầu, Lão Phu cũng không làm. Ở rể trong gia tại Quảng Tây khi đó là chuyện rất bình thường. Không ai sẽ kỳ thị, nhưng Hán tộc thì khác. Hiện tại Nam Tử ở rể là chuyện mất mặt ở rất nhiều địa phương, càng miễn bàn tới những năm Triều Minh. Nhất là lúc mọi người còn đặc biệt coi trọng nối dõi tông đường. Ngô Văn Định bởi vì nhìn thấy con mình và Tống Tiểu Ái thân thiết ở Thanh Dương Cung, đại náo một hồi, trong lòng cũng không thoải mái lắm. Ông bèn trở về lại hỏi thăm một chút. Hàng xóm láng giềng vừa nghe đối phương là thủ lĩnh thổ ti, đều khăng khăng cho rằng con của ông nhất định phải ở rể nhà gái. Sau đó vỗ vai ông, rất đồng tình, nói: Lão Ngô, đứa con này của lão xem như phí công nuôi dùm người ta rồi. Lão Ngũ vừa nghe liền nổi cáu, càng thấy Tống Tiểu Ái trướng mắt, làm sao cho hai người quen nhau nữa. Lúc này ông nổi tiếng bướng bỉnh, bị người ta xử một trận. Ông tưởng là Tống Tiểu Ái hạ lệnh, lần này ông chẳng những không giận, ngược lại còn thuận nước đẩy thuyền. Cô gái dám yêu dám hận, tính tình ngay thẳng như vậy, đúng là đốt đèn tìm cũng hiếm thấy. Đợi đến khi Tống Tiểu Ái đánh trận thắng lớn, Ngô Văn Đình nghĩ đi nghĩ lại, cảm thấy cô bé này quả là nhìn thế nào cũng thuận mắt. Ngoại trừ tâm mệnh ở rể này quả thực là quá hoàn mỹ, vì vậy mới đuổi kéo con đi để làm rõ phán đoán với nàng. Ông muốn cậy già lên mặt, viện cớ một trường bối như ông là bị nàng xử trí, ép nàng nhượng bộ. Hiện giờ có được trả lời chuẩn xác, Lão Ngũ cuối cùng cũng yên tâm. Vậy con là thủ lĩnh bộ tộc, thực sự có thể gả đi sao? Tống Tiểu Ái mặc dù phóng khoáng, song bàn về kết hôn vẫn còn có chút ngượng ngùng, nàng xấu hổ nói: Con mặc dù không có huynh đệ tìm muội, nhưng vẫn còn anh em họ, còn không muốn địa vị thủ lĩnh, cũng không phải là không thể nhường lại. Trong lòng Ngô Văn Định mừng rỡ, ông vừa định nói chuyện, chợt thấy con mình xách một thùng nước tập thò đứng ở cửa bèn mắng: Trốn ở đó làm gì, còn không mau xách nước vào đây. Ngô Ăn Siêu sau khi nghe lén được một nửa sau nội dung mấu chốt thì vô cùng vui vẻ xách nước vào, đứng tại chỗ cực kỳ hí hửng, miệng cười muốn ngoác đến mang tai. Ngô Văn Định nhìn trái nhìn phải, một đôi kim đồng ngọc nữ thật sự là càng xem càng khiến người ta ưng ý. Ngô Văn Định xoa tay, liên tục gật đầu nói: Được, được, các con đi ra ngoài đi, Lão Phu phải tắm rửa thay quần áo. Được. Tống Tiểu Ái đỏ mặt thi lễ với Lão Ngũ rồi cùng Ngô Ăn Siêu lui ra ngoài. Ngô Ăn Siêu buông màn trướng xuống, vui mừng xoay người lại, thấy Tống Tiểu Ái đã bước đi thật xa, vội đuổi theo kéo tay áo nàng nói: Ấy, vội đi nhanh vậy làm gì? Tống Tiểu Ái vừa quay đầu lại, vẻ mặt bực bội lạnh như băng, lạnh lùng buông một tiếng, buông ra. Ngô Ấn Siêu giật mình, vội vàng buông tay, ngượng ngùng nói: Sao vậy, khi nãy đang bình thường mà, hờ một chút liền trở mặt còn nhanh hơn đặt sách là sao? Tống Tiểu Ái nhìn không chớp mắt thản nhiên nói: Trở mặt, ta nào dám, không phải nghe lời người nào đó bồn quan ngoan ngoãn cút ngay cho y sao? Nàng hừ một tiếng, vẩy tay áo một cái rồi ngang nhiên rời đi. Thảm rồi, sao ta lại quên bén chuyện này? Nữ nhân đúng là nhỏ mọn. Ta. Y nghiêng tai vừa nghe, trong chữ của mình còn truyền ra giọng cười càn rỡ của Ngũ Văn Định. Bèn quay đầu nhìn lại, tấm cô nương người ta cũng không thèm ngoái đầu. Ngũ Ấn Siêu nặng nề dẫm chân, tự tát miệng mình một cái. Ta đúng là dư thừa, nếu làm loạn chuyện này lên, ta đây chẳng phải trong ngoài đều không phải người sao? Tình dương như máu, mây dài đầy trời. Các quân binh chúc mừng thắng lợi, phát hiện Tống đại tướng quân sắc mặt hầm hầm, chắp tay sau lưng đi tuần khắp doanh, trên mặt không thấy một niềm vui chiến thắng. Còn kiêu kỵ đô úy Ngũ đại thiếu gia cúi đầu khom lưng, mặt cười nịnh nọt chạy lon ton đằng sau, miệng lầm ba lầm bầm, đuối cúi không biết nói chuyện gì đó. Trời chiều kéo dài bóng của hai người, khi thì yên lặng, khi thì tụ tán, hình dạng khoa trương giống như đang trình diễn một màn kịch hài cường điệu. Lý Sâm đích thân đốc xuất một lộ quân đội tiến công tình trạm an ninh bến Phỉ Thình, qua đường núi quanh co khúc khuỷu, thạch đá lởm chởm, dưới chân nước chảy dốc rách, phong cảnh thật vĩ lệ. Nhưng quan binh lại như lâm đại địch, căn bản chẳng có tâm đi thưởng thức. Đi trước nhất là đằng bài binh, hai tay nâng khiên mây lớn cao bằng người, cẩn trọng nhích về phía trước. Phía trước đã không còn đường, chỉ còn một lối nhỏ, có đám cỏ dại đổ xuống như bị người dẫm lên, chỉ đủ một người đi qua. Một đội quân tất nhiên không chịu nổi một kích, đại quân tới đây thì khó thể đi tiếp được nữa, đành phải dừng lại. Lý Sâm đánh giá địa hình bốn phía, thấy có một dòng suối từ trong núi uốn lượn chảy ra. Tuy nói hai bên dòng suối cỏ dại mọc thành bụi cây vượt qua đầu, nhưng so sánh ra thì rộng hơn một chút. Càng khó có được chính là hành quân giữa dòng suối nông có thể tránh được các cạm bẫy tầng tầng lớp ẩn trong đám cỏ dại tùm cao cỡ nửa người. Các chướng ngại vật như trúc đinh, dây móc, trúc thương, mũi gai nhọn, vân vân này khó có thể phát hiện, không chỉ cản trở hành trình của đại quân mà còn sát thương rất nhiều binh lính. Lý Sâm lập tức lĩnh mệnh lệnh quân đội di chuyển xuống phía dưới ngược dòng suối để đi ngược lên. Dòng suối này tên là Bàng Giải Khê, sâu không quá đầu gối, độ rộng cỡ vẻ chút. Tuy nói quanh co, thỉnh thoảng còn có tảng đá lớn chặn đường, nhưng tốc độ đại quân đi so với trên đường nhanh hơn rất nhiều. Màn nhân đã có thể bố trí cạm bẫy ở trong bụi cỏ, ở trong cây, trong đất, không có lý do sẽ bỏ qua dòng suối thông đến trong cốc này. Lý Sâm cũng không dám khinh thường, vẫn kêu binh lính toàn lực đề phòng trên không, hai bên, thậm chí cả ở dưới nước, chỉ sợ đột nhiên có thứ gì từ bên trong phóng lên. Hai đỉnh núi phía trước sừng sững như hai cánh cửa, thế núi cực kỳ hiểm. Đỉnh núi trải rộng những rừng cây xanh tươi tốt, trên vách đá tùm, che kín hòm quan tài treo lơ lửng. Lý Sâm lập tức lệnh cho đại quân dừng lại. Y đang chuẩn bị phái thám tử trước đó đi dò đường để phòng có mai phục, thì đột nhiên một nhánh cây phía trước đong đưa, tiếng huyết gió kỳ quái vang lên. Quan binh của bằng không kịp chuẩn bị đều kêu thảm thiết rồi ngã xuống. Có người không kịp kêu lên, óc đã tung tóe, tử trạng vô cùng thê thảm. Binh lính giơ cao lá chắn, nhưng phía trước phóng tới không phải cung tiễn, không phải thoa thương mà là tảng đá, bé nhất cũng bằng chén ăn cơm. Khiên mây cũng không đỡ nổi, mù quáng bắn tên cũng không trụ được mưa đá từ trên trời giáng xuống, đành lao sang bụi cỏ hai bên để tránh né. Trong bụi cỏ sớm đã bố trí cạm bẫy, trúc đinh, dây móc, mũi gai. Con binh lao vào kêu gào thê thảm thiết, tử thương vô số. Đám mọi dợ tận dụng toàn bộ thân cây và tảng đá, lấy thân cây làm dây cung, lấy tảng đá làm tên. Thế bẻ gãy nghiền nát, không ai có thể địch. Quân Minh bỏ lại lượng lớn tử thi, bắt đầu tháo chạy ra ngoài núi. Trận thế đại loạn, Lý Sâm cũng không ngăn cản được nữa. Khi một tảng đá cỡ bằng bát cơm bay qua vai y, kình phòng sượt qua mặt đau rát. Một gã thân quân phía sau bị kình thạch đập vào ngực, xương ngực vỡ vụn, ngã xuống đất co giật, miệng mũi phun đầy máu tươi. Thì dù Lý Sâm là lão tướng hung hãn, không sợ chết cũng thấy buốt lạnh, chỉ phải cắn răng thét ra lệnh hậu trận chuyển thành tiền trận, chạy đoạn ra ngoài núi. Là nói đến sở bộ của tham tướng Lý Trạch, đại quân bố trí nhất tự trường xà trận dọc theo triền núi thấp bên một khe sâu, vòng qua trọn cầu Đầu Sơn. Nơi này địa thế hiểm yếu, chật hẹp, đại quân chỉ có thể kéo dài đội ngũ chậm rãi đi tới. Tuy nhiên, bên phải trên núi thấp là khe sâu, bên trái là một sườn núi dốc. Tuy nói cỏ cây phồn thịnh, nhưng ở trên cao nhìn xuống, nếu bên trong cất giấu nhân mã vẫn có thể thấy, không sợ chúng mai phục. Đại quân càng đi càng sâu, thì Trung không thấy bóng mọi dợ. Dọc theo đường núi, quân binh đã kéo thành đội ngũ dài đến vài dặm, giống như một đầu rắn dài uốn lượn đi trước. Đột nhiên, khu rừng rậm dưới chân núi bên trái, đội quân tiên phong vang lên tiếng trống đồng nặng nề. Quân Minh đã nhiều lần giao phong với Man Tử, biết trong rừng có Man Tử vai phục. Cũng may cách nhau rất xa, nơi này là từ trên cao nhìn xuống, đoán chừng bọn họ cũng không chắc dám xông lên. Tuấn bài thủ của quân Minh đồng loạt dựng thẳng lá chắn, cung nỏ thủ, hỏa súng thủ phía sau, bày trận sẵn sàng đón địch. Quân Linh phía sau cũng gấp gáp chuẩn bị phòng tuyến thứ hai. Nhưng bọn họ ngạc nhiên phát hiện từ trong rừng chạy ra như điên không phải là man nhân, mà là trâu ngựa la. Những con gia súc này đều đeo hàn thiếc, đuôi bị đốt giống như chiến xa điên cuồng mãnh liệt xông lên triền núi. Gia súc như vậy chỉ có mấy chục con, tình hình còn khả quan, nhưng mà lát trâu ngựa